It's field trip time.
Another field trip for us. Can't wait.
Here we go. It will be unveiled shortly.
Yes, stay tuned.
Okay. Hello.
Hi guys. It's Hayley
And Liz.
from Hayley and Liz, the Expressive Stitch Collective.
The collective.
Yes, the mouthful.
Yes, yes.
So we're back with another video. We went on a field trip last week.
We did. It was really, I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been talking about it. In fact, we were talking about it yesterday so much. Mm-hmm. We kept saying we should be recording because we knew we were going to make this video.
Yes, it made us think quite a bit.
It did. And we debated whether to, share the our thoughts with you right after seeing the show. Mm-hmm. And then we both felt pretty strongly that we wanted to let it percolate and see kind of where the show took us. So
and I think that's good too, because now we're going to sort of like tell you the story of seeing the show and the highlights. We're going to highlight what we remember the most from the show. Yeah. But basically we went to see Liz Collins had a show at the RISD Art Museum in Providence, and the show's called Motherlode. And what did we learn about Liz Collins?
Oh, she's really prolific.
Yes.
She's the same, that Liz is the same age as this Liz, which we're going to talk about that in a little while. But it was just inspirational in the end, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I think we both really responded to her. I'm trying to do kind of an overview before we dig deeper. Yeah. Like, we both really responded strongly to her aesthetic.
Yes,
I'd say
for sure.
She uses color in a way that we both really like to use color. She uses shape, and we really liked the way she used repetitive shapes.
Yep.
Like over decades even.
Color, shape, drawing, fiber art techniques, designing, fine art. She's
design,
prolific, kind of prolific
like
person.
Couture type. I don't want to say couture, but she did fashion design
as well,
yeah,
and
fashion
also
design.
Textile designer.
Yeah.
So
public artist.
Yep, and performance artist.
Yeah,
as well. So we were, we didn't know this artist going in, but we saw images of her work, and since RISD's right there for us, we decided it'd be silly not to go.
And we were kind of funny. We were a little judgy, not gonna lie. When we first saw the show being kind of teased, right? They had an opening, and we were kind of like, oh, maybe we should go to the opening. Then we looked at the details, and it was like, there's going to be a DJ, and it's like a party, and there was like we were kind of like
club-esque, and we were like, what is this?
What is happening? Like, what is this all about? And we didn't really understand it, and I think the minute we walked into that show, it was like everything just clicked into place and slotted, and we totally got the vision. And I think that that's something I really feel like I appreciated about her work is that overarching vision of the whole experience of her work.
That's a very good point. And we also learned that she was a student and a faculty member of RISD.
Yes.
I think that also explains maybe the celebration and party atmosphere.
Yeah.
Even though her work also kind of explains that, which maybe you'll see once we actually start showing her work in the video. So that's what we plan to do, is kind of like talk about our experience and then put up images, put up videos into this video so you can see what we're talking about. By the way, I did learn yesterday, I haven't told you this, when Karen, our friend Karen, stopped by the studio, she said if you are a Rhode Island resident, you can get a free membership to the RISD Art Museum to go anytime for free.
Who knew this?
And I'm a Massachusetts resident. She was like, yeah, but you work in Rhode Island. So they're not like sticklers about it.
Where do you go to get it?
I don't know, but we can find out.
We will find out.
I'm going to Google it after this because I just remembered she said that.
I will say, until we get you this information, we went on library passes.
We did.
So we were able to get, my local library is Barrington, and we got free admission. They have passes to so many museums. And it occurred to me that, hey, RISD might be one of these museums. I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I usually go on a Sunday. I think that's another reason it's free on Sundays.
Yes. But you can do that to a lot of museums in New England. Yeah. So if you are coming to town, you can take out passes and what have you. So
that's good to know.
Yeah. Anyhow. So we went on a sunny, warm day.
We did.
What was it, last week, to Providence, and we had to figure out where the museum was because I forget every time.
Back, it was really warm because at the end of the day we had to walk up a hill, and we were like, can we go back in the museum to go up? And we couldn't. We had to walk up
the steep hill.
Yeah.
But the show was immediately there when you walk into the museum, and there was one room of Liz Collins's drawings.
Yes.
And sketches. And I was actually shocked at how much drawing was involved in her process. I don't know why, but I was just like, oh,
there was a lot.
Whole room of drawings.
Yes, and we saw kind of where the drawings led, which was really neat. I mean, I know you don't do a lot of drawing.
Not
beforehand.
Sometimes if I'm doing more like pictorial type rugs, but not so much.
Yeah, and I will kind of the same thing. If I'm working on something and I'm trying to fine tune or see what I want something to look like, I'm trying to be better about doing, some other types of stuff. But I don't do a ton of drawing I'm usually working more, and I don't know if you do this. My drawing is usually more geared toward making a pattern for myself to then use to get my work onto whatever it is I'm doing.
I think that speaks to her as a designer too, because you have to, if you're designing fabrics, you're designing rugs and textiles, they have to come from somewhere. You're not just sitting down on a machine and weaving.
No, you have to have a plan.
Producing something, you have to have a plan, especially when you're like working on producing something and repetition and that kind of the words I'm looking for when you're doing textile design.
Well, and she needs almost like she had weavings in there. She had needlepoint. She had embroidery. She had surface design. Yeah. I mean, I think she probably uses so many. I don't know. Oh, I will say it was really cool. One thing I really like, because especially when it comes to fiber, I'm like a little kid. I want to touch everything. And while you can't touch everything, you can walk on her rugs. You can sit on benches and chairs that she's designed. You can really kind of feel like you are able to use and be interactive with a lot of the stuff that's in there.
Some things you can purchase too.
Yes. So it was really neat. That was really neat. I liked that.
It kind of goes again to that design fine art thing where both people that work in a fine art style and a craft style. So it was really good for us to see somebody just owning that completely and fully. Even though a lot of people do, it's always nice to be reminded that like you can be all the things. You don't have to like pick one vein and one's not more important than the other. It's all there for us to enjoy. I will say that the show, I have so many thoughts, but the show itself was really like deliciously curated when it came to color and pattern. And shout out to our friend Marnie who works at RISD, and she worked with the curator. We should get the curator's name. I just can't remember right now. I'll insert it in here, or we'll,
because it was beautifully done, and your eye was just led from one room to another,
and having those usable objects I think really helped with that vision. You were all encompassed in
you were surrounded. It was on the floor, it was on the walls, it was in the air, it was it was really
and there were some pieces that, again, like when we're talking about like the weavings and some of her sculptures, they looked really, really planned out. And then there were others that looked like they were made and produced and planned out, but then they were deconstructed. And that felt like a departure from this process of drawing and planning. Although I think she had to plan. I don't know how she did. I mean, it was confusing looking at it. It looked so refined to me to read that it was something she had snipped and deconstructed. It was hard to wrap my brain around that process. At one point, though, when you think about it, at one point in her work and her process, again, not speaking for her, I don't know her, but it's like she made the thing and then she didn't know what was going to happen when she snipped into it.
That's true. I do.
You know what I mean? So maybe eventually she knew what it was going to look like after you do 10 pieces. But at some point, it's like a leap of faith. You can't plan that.
No.
You don't know what's going to happen in your craft.
Which we both love. I have to say, we were talking about that yesterday as well. How we started one point, and I think really anybody who makes things gets this. You start with one point or one idea, and you end up like way over here. And that's the pushing. That's the pushing that we do. That's when it gets good and juicy,
exciting, and taking those risks. So I like that. I like seeing the work that's so perfectly planned out, and then the sort of the opposite of that, something that's shredded or changed or a disruption in the process. She had a large tapestry when you first walked into the first room, where that was at one point looked one way we read about
it
this.
was panels.
It was panels of beautiful
and it was
chevron type fabric.
Yes, and it can be hung.
It can be hung in multiple different ways, but she had it hung one way, and sort of in a response to like almost like a political response to some disruption in LGBTQ plus rights.
Yeah,
she flipped some of the panels.
She flipped, just some of them, inverted some of them. And I did notice, now that you say that, it's funny, this just occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we saw the one picture where it was really open and kind of glorious looking and you could see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we saw it arranged, it was very much reduced from that big...
Which one?
So the same one, all the panels.
All the
when
panels
we saw
with the red
when we
and the
looked
chevron.
online, or maybe it was a picture that was hanging.
We saw
there.
it in her book.
It was in her book. That's right. And they just looked. It looked like it could have taken up about twice as much space as it actually did.
Yes.
And I think that you hit the nail on the head with this reduction and disruption of LGBTQ.
As almost like hanging a flag upside down.
Yes,
is what it sort of felt like.
Yeah,
she did have a political lean to her work because I think she
very
identifies as a queer artist.
Yes, she identifies as
queer. And also somebody that has no problem making like a political statement with their art. And you know, the fiber is a politically charged.
Yeah,
or can
really
can be a very politically charged.
Well, you just
medium.
mentioned flags. Think about really when you think about it. Who made flags
in general? They are very symbolic,
right?
And she did a flag project. So we're jumping around, but we saw her drawings. We saw her
and
design.
We did see the drawings for the big panels we're talking about. Yep.
And then there was another room where had the deconstructed work and some more monochromatic type work. In another room, just to kind of the same like train of thought. There was performance art and performance videos.
So there were 4 rooms, really. Mm-hmm. So the initial room we're talking about with the drawings and the big panel. Mm-hmm. Then there was another room that had the big, another big wall hanging, all the furniture, all of the deconstructed stuff that Hayley's mentioning. Then we had almost like the political room. Although I think all of her work you could probably read between the lines. For sure. And then the fashion room.
Yes, and that showed some of her fashion work.
Design,
But it was really interesting to see the performance art that was more politically, like very, very politically charged work. You were telling me about knitting machines that I didn't know anything about.
When we walked into the second room, so we hadn't seen the third room, the political room, and also the performance art piece of it. So we were looking.
Was it called Knitting Nation?
I think it was called Knitting Nation because it was KN. She had like a shirt where she put KN.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
No. So we were looking at some of her work that had been deconstructed or was like sort of coiled and some other things, and I said, "Oh, it looks like she uses a knitting machine." And I was telling Hayley, I go, when I did my knitting certification, we learned how to do, we use these knitting machines. I mean, we were just sort of given an introduction to them. They don't make them anymore. And I was describing it to her. The only way I could describe it was, it looks like a keyboard. Anyway, and then lo and behold, we walk into the next room. Yeah, it's all about the knitting machines.
Which I think was a huge part of her process when she went to school and then beyond. Yeah, her fashion design and of course this performance.
Yeah, you can really see it used in her fashion design.
The Knitting Nation was, it's I think sometimes students, sometimes just collaborators, and they got together and almost did these performances where they were using knitting machines to make these large swaths of fabric in like almost like an installation type way.
Almost like it unfurls like in a park or something. Right. And it's just so long.
Some of them were like the colors of the flag, or and some were other things too.
Yes, some of them were patriotic, like it was questioning in a way the patriotism of certain things, I think. They looked patriotic. And then wasn't there a rainbow one?
I think there
was a rainbow one.
And then I think others was just
like all red.
I can't remember. There was an all blue one.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But I think when I read the description or watched the video, a lot of it had to do with sort of like this, the ones that were less politically charged were about like your body, but using
repetitive motion.
And how it's like hard on your body,
Yep.
but then you have this machine, it's like a dance, but it's not, and like just the act of making as well. But having this group called the Knitting Nation, who kind of almost were like an army of workers.
They had like coverall kind of outfits.
Yeah.
And then they positioned themselves sort of almost like you were watching a music video.
Yes, right.
And they were playing instruments, or they were in a band, but they were using the knitting machines.
That's right. So that was very interesting. I had no idea about that work. And then we moved in. I'm actually leaving my favorite to the last, but
me too.
We moved to.
I know we haven't talked about my favorite yet.
Design portion, which also further explained Liz Collins' story about working in that industry and how she used that knitting machine as well,
right.
in addition to other things. But she made fashion lines and had runway shows and that kind of thing, and they had kind of like this club atmosphere.
It did,
which again kind of explains
it was
the
fun.
Opening that we didn't go to, but didn't really understand, and then of course we saw the show.
And what was really neat is I read one of the descriptions, and it showed this pink sweater. It was kind of in like a shadow box, and it looks like it's like this big, but it's a knit. It's knit. And she said in the description, it said that she wore it so much that the pink part became sheer, and the bulkier parts, stayed bulky. And it was neat to see her just using different fiber and things to just experiment. And then that's what happens as it is used in ages. And,
it brought us back to the late 90s, early 2000s. There was definitely a vibe.
Kind of a grunge vibe. A little bit of...
That we both sort of recognized as... being days of old. Although that stuff's all in now, so it's not like it's...
I know. Well, when you look at it, you look at it, and yes, at this point, some of it is stuff we've seen before. You see things like, all the shows, Project Runway, whatever. You see, they reference all of this. Yeah. But I really feel like you could send that down the runway today.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be relevant.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some of it felt like fresh again.
Yes.
Even though the work was 20-something years old. So that's just interesting, from a design standpoint.
Yeah, it was really... I didn't expect to walk in and see that. Like, when I came to that room, I was like, oh.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So then, this is not chronological, but my favorite
part... We'll backtrack, because I think our favorite things were in the same room.
Yeah, my favorite part of the show was, it was beyond... In the same room as sort of like the distressed work, the work that was more monochromatic, and it was in the far back of the room. I think my favorite might be across from your favorite.
It is. I know what yours is, and I know what mine is.
Well, firstly, this really large tapestry that took the up the whole wall in the back of the room, so you could see it from almost everywhere you were.
It's massive.
It was this massive, just beautiful landscape. Oh, I can
like
look it up.
30 by 20 or something feet.
We shouldn't.
I don't want. We're just guessing.
Insert it in. Yeah, but it was huge, wall size.
Yeah.
And it just was. I want to look at it again. It was just like formally was so beautiful.
And I do feel like we saw images as we moved toward it in her other work that we saw again. And look at this, even this photo, see how that it swags, the chair swag, and you see that swag, and she had that in her deconstructed work.
Yes.
She has those circles.
Beautifully curated show. So what we're talking about, is these chairs that kind of sat across from this really large piece
that we were able to sit
in. It was
really fun.
Definitely sit in them, and
it was encouraged.
It was encouraged to use.
She made them to be part of a conversation where people could sit and stitch and interact.
But I loved this, like I said, this large piece that almost looked like a landscape with a weather system, but it also had rainbows, which must represent like some the important part of maybe pride or something. I don't know, because I haven't read about the piece, but it was just an absolutely gorgeous piece. And around that piece in that same room were these more sculptural pieces that were almost like round and had a bunch of threads hanging from them.
Beads.
Beaded pieces. They were, I would say, to me, they read as aside from the smaller embroidery pieces that we're probably going to talk about next, they read as very like clean, and the craft was beautiful of them. They had like shine and sparkle.
Yes.
Which also kind of contrasted with some of the more gritty, the
Yeah.
grittiness of some of the work too,
I
which
liked
I
when-
really just loved.
when
I
I
just love them visually.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because as deconstructed and kind of as chaotic as some of the work was, it was super clean.
Yes.
She uses a lot of like clean dynamic lines,
Yes.
lots of, kind of zigzags, lots of just, and I liked the fact that even those pieces with beads incorporated, I did not look at them standing right in front of them and say, oh, look at those beads. It was more like, what is that?
Yes, it was the materials were very transformed.
Yeah.
In a lot of the pieces. Some of them not as much, but in the ones that were in the back part of the room, I thought the material, you couldn't tell if it was a painting, a weaving, or what have you.
And there were beautiful quotes all around
yes,
as well.
Lots
that
of
was very
great writing. But I did love this. It's almost like, I think Jasper Johns might be the person who I'm thinking of, a painter from mid-20th century that did a lot of bullseyes and things.
She definitely has a lot of circles.
A lot of circles.
A lot of eye shape, which I also think she has a lot of it could be very feminine looking. Yep. It can be an eye. It's like just kind of these oracle type.
Yep. Yeah, there definitely seems like there's a very strong visual language that feels very like spiritual almost. But one of the things that we haven't touched on yet, but I know we're both thinking it, is one of the first things we said to each other is look at all the repetition in her work. Like this work spanned 30-something years.
Yes.
And
which was
we
a
were
relief
like,
when I thought about it.
The work that's over here chronologically in the front relates so much to the work in the back.
And
like,
it was totally different decades.
But she developed her language, and she feels very strongly about it because she's still.
And you weren't bored by it at all.
No, she's still investigating the same things. Maybe, obviously some difference. Again, and I'm not speaking for her, but from my point of view, she's still investigating some of the same things from 1990 as she is now.
I felt almost like, now that I'm looking at this again, it's almost like you're kind of introduced to these characters she uses, almost like it's a book.
Yep.
And as you go along in her artistic journey, you follow these characters or these images that she uses, and you see them evolve and change, but not a lot. I mean, they become like more powerful and
the work in the sort of the back, which is, I think, the most recent.
I think
felt very powerful.
Yes.
Felt very confident and powerful and spiritual. And a lot of her work did, but for that whole area, to me, I wanted to live there. You know what I mean?
Oh, I could have easily hung out in those chairs like all day long. It was funny. I will share a little personal thing that when we first walked in, they have her kind of biography, and we happened to be born in the same year. And I looked at Hayley, walks up, and she goes, "What do you think?" And I said, I'm wondering what I've been doing with my life. Like, she has done so
kind
much.
Of a prolific person.
But I love seeing this. I'm thinking of when our friend Faye said to me, which again, I kind of took with I wasn't quite sure how to take it, that I'm entering my crone years.
Yes, if you guys didn't know, crone is a compliment.
Yes, it's a compliment. And now that I'm looking at this her more current work, I'm like, she is definitely, she's come into her power.
She's a powerful crone.
It's super powerful. Yeah.
Still feels wrong saying, but
it does feel wrong. I don't want to be a crone, but I'm going to take it for with the intent that it was meant.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. As you should.
Yes, because I'm using that to describe her work completely as a compliment.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. So we're looking at my phone because
I know we are. We're like, ooh.
But we're just like, we're just watching it over and over again because it's just really stunning work.
I would like to go back again.
Yeah, I would go back again. Again, so maybe get our free passes or go on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And tell me about the pieces you really responded to.
Oh, so I know we talked about yours. My favorite pieces were, she had a whole wall of these tiny little Hayley's trying to pull it up
I
on her
don't think
phone.
I have them, unfortunately.
Tiny little, some of them were weavings, some of them were needle pointed, some of them were embroidered. I think that
might be it.
Yeah, that might be it. But they were very, very tiny. And for those of you who've been following us for a while, you know, I kind of went through this phase, and we both did. We did a challenge, like making things mini. So it was kind of a wall of that, but they were all just done by hand. The color was gorgeous.
They were all
graphicness. They were all abstract.
So squares, chevron, circles.
And they all worked well together. And again, you could see them relate to other larger pieces. For me, it was, I like to talk about sometimes embroideries and little sketches when you're doing many things as a sketchbook. And that was like, to me, I felt like I was looking at a wall of her sketches.
But they were so beautiful.
They were beautiful.
They
were
the most beautiful sketches.
In and of its own.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But they were smaller and in a grouping, and they almost took over
you could
a whole
see
wall.
the way her mind maybe worked by looking at that.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. Like, we didn't see a lot more weaving, did we?
No, not really, I don't think.
Yeah.
But, well, the big deconstructed things, those were woven. But then they were cut apart.
And the rugs, I mean, that's, you know, that kind of, so, yeah, you just wonder, like, when did she do these? How did they come into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All in all, it was an incredible show.
It really was.
And I think it's running through
a long time.
It's a long time.
Yes.
So you have time to go see it.
Yes, it might be through the end of the year.
Yeah,
or
definitely
like
if you're in the New England area, it's, you know, there's other things you can do while you're here, but it's worth a trip.
You can come see us.
You can come see us. I think it's worth a trip.
Yeah, it was a great
I would have
show.
driven a couple hours to see
Yes,
that show.
I would too. Now, I would recommend it to anyone. But we were both like, just so pleased as punch to have seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really, and it made us
Thank you, Liz Collins.
Yes, thank you,
You really
Liz Collins.
inspired us.
It was great.
It was.
Show.
We both left feeling. At first, I had that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm almost overwhelmed by this, and like the magnitude of how much work she has produced.
Yeah.
But then that quickly passed, and I just became incredibly inspired and impressed, and it made me feel like you can go in all these different directions and do different things, and somehow it does all come together in the end. When you're exploring. You can see that in her work.
And it brings us to a conversation that we had yesterday that we don't need to like rehash fully, but it's one of those things where it leads you to sort of reflect on who you are as an artist and what your strengths are, and kind of like, you know, like I think like if you walk into a show, like it's happened to me. I've seen people that have my birth date and been like, oh my God, look at how accomplished they are, and like, where am I and what am I doing, and da da da. Everybody has that moment. It's almost, or like maybe on the other side of it, like an imposter syndrome or something like that, which is different but sort of the same. It's a feeling of sort of inadequacy or whatever. But just remembering that, like nobody's comparing.
Yeah,
those people are not you.
No, you have to do you.
You
and
have to.
You have to follow your journey. And we were also talking about how we touched on, sometimes it seems like things come through you. It's almost like you're not even in control.
Yeah, we were mentioning the book Big Magic.
That if you haven't read that,
Gilbert.
Yeah, definitely worth a read. That should have been on our list, really. Yeah. Was it? I don't know if it was. Anyway, add that to your list.
Yeah, it's a good book.
I think I listened to it. It's not super
I did too.
long.
I also listened
I really
to it,
enjoyed listening to it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that it's like, I think how I said it to Hayley was, I almost feel like sometimes it's like I really want to, if I was a writer, I'd be thinking, I want to be a poet. I want to make these beautiful things. But in reality, what I'm good at is crime fiction or something.
Yeah,
and so that's what comes out of me. I mean, it's almost like whatever's going to come out of you comes out of you.
Just trusting your intuition. And like, we've chosen to be artists. Like, why fake it? Like, be true to yourself. You've come this far in choosing to be an artist. Don't try to be something you aren't, because what's the point then? You know what I mean? You have to trust your intuition and go your own path. And I think like the example I was using is like, oh, I wish I was more outgoing. I wish I was better at networking. I wish I was better at public speaking and making videos and doing the whole thing, even though that's what we're doing now. But I wish I could do it 10 times better. But it's like, what's the best thing about me is the work I make. So why try so hard to do something else?
That there are wonderful things about you.
But you know what I'm saying.
No, I know.
Like my contribution.
Your contribution. I think that was the word you used.
To art is making the art.
Yeah.
And don't ever forget it, because if the minute I forget that, I start to feel
it's true. It is true.
I'm not as confident as maybe both of us should be. You know what I mean? I
know. That is. I think confidence as an artist is a tricky thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fleeting too. You know, sometimes you have it and then it's gone.
And then it's gone.
It's like a bird. It just flies away, but then it comes back and lands again.
Our sculpture project, and mine is in that awkward adolescent stage. It's like 12 and a half right now, 13, and it doesn't know what it needs. It needs some work. Let's just
mine
say
isn't
that.
The same. Mine is like braces and acne right now.
So we go through awkward stages, but that's the growth.
What we're liking is that we are both already talking about doing more sculpture and about how it's changed the way we're thinking of and looking at our other work. Yeah. How it can become more sculptural.
Yeah, and taking that risk. My sculpture's ugly, but I'm doing it anyway.
I think both of our sculptures are good ugly.
Good ugly. Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with ugly. I mean, I do think that. I think, like, for me, art, even if I don't like it, if it makes me feel strongly a certain way, or it makes me want to linger and look at it, it's done its job. I mean, it may not be 100%. Something that, like, I look back at and kind of think, like, how did they do that? Or look at the color, you know. But it definitely, sometimes the stuff I don't like is the stuff that lingers with me the longest, you know. I don't know what it is, like watching a bad movie that you can't stop thinking about. So, so anyway, I think that's it, probably, right?
Go see the show.
We need to turn the air conditioner back on, is what's really happening. It's very, very hot here today, and we wanted you to be able to hear us over the... so we turned the air conditioner off, and now we're dying. But.
Yes, but thank you for watching. If you have any comments about Liz Collins, her work, this video, whether or not you like us going to do these show reviews,
because we love it.
Drop us a comment.
But if you don't like it, we'll just
let us know. Let us know what you want to see next, and keep in touch and subscribe.
Like and
ring
subscribe.
A bell.
Ring a bell. Oh, that's the notification thing. Then you'll know when we have a new video.
Yeah.
Or just look at us on Instagram.
Yes,
we
do have an Instagram, so check out that.
Oh yeah, you can check our expressive stitch. Is it Hayley and Liz?
It's Hayley and Liz.
I like the way we know the name of things. It is Hayley and Liz. We're eventually supposed to shorten it.
Yes, just
right now it is Hayley and Liz Expressive Stitch Collective. Yeah. Soon, we're really coming up on like 6 months with that. True. So soon we may just shorten it to Hayley and Liz.
But anyhow.
We're evolving. Just like Liz Collins' work.
Exactly. But thank you for watching. We'll see you
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh.
Should we talk or just
Hello. Why do we do that every time?
Hello. We're back.